Hello, my name is Rojiru, and welcome to my second video in the Art of War tutorial series, where I'll be answering a few questions that I read in the comments section here on YouTube and in the thread on Reddit. First of all, I'll be talking about the papacy, how you gain new papal influence points, what those are in the first place, how you gain new cardinals, and how to become the Curia controller. Finally, we'll be talking a bit about colonies. Colonies that have formed after you've plopped 5 of them down next to each other, and how distant overseas autonomy works, both for colonies and just random provinces you may have happened to pick up. I hope you'll join me in these next few segments, learn more about these new features and changes. Let's continue. Let's begin with our section about colonies, distant overseas autonomy, and what those things mean. I've loaded into my Netherlands game, for this instance, this point of the video, to talk about these things because in Brazil and South America in general, we can see all of these things quite easily. For instance, I have retained the island of New Curland. New Curland has a base tax of 7.5, the 0.5 coming from the natives assimilated blah 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 colonial stuff. What we're talking about here is the autonomy from being a distant overseas province. Notice that it is at 75% autonomy, and at the bottom of this tooltip you can read that it says overseas provinces cannot have an autonomy lower than 75%. No matter what you do, no matter what your monthly change to autonomy is, for this instance, I have negative 0.10 from being a Dutch republic and negative 0.10 from being at peace. These effects are useless in this instance because overseas provinces cannot have an autonomy lower than 75%. Autonomy just makes the province, in all respects, all those that you see in the tooltip, production efficiency, tax modifier, manpower modifier, etc., are 75% less effective. The only thing that is not cut by 75% is the local trade power. That is only negative 37.5%. So half of the effective autonomy rate is cut for local trade power, which makes trading nations a much more viable option for the colonial game, and distant overseas provinces are that much more valuable to them. Now, just straight up colonies. Tartarus here, for instance, what region is this? This is the Guyana and Colombia region. Tartarus, yes, Netherlands joke, ha ha ha, I'm quite funny. They, because their capital is here in South America, they do not suffer any autonomy. That makes your colonies that much more effective at governing themselves, bringing in their own taxes. So if you have the choice, I'd say give them the land there. The only reason I haven't given them New Curland is because it is part of the North American continent, which would give them an overseas penalty. In any case, let's take a look at colonies and how that affects autonomy. The best instance I can see for this here in this region of the map is Camana. This has been colonized by the nation Cusco, a new nation added in the Art of War DLC for South America. You can see here that their autonomy is locked at 50% because it is a colony. It is on the same continent that they are, but it is a colony. And the autonomy can never be lower than 50%. So new colonies will never be more effective than half of a regular province. This makes nations like Russia, who colonize out into Siberia, half as effective, basically, in all of their new provinces. See, they have colonized the province of Barnaul here. It is likewise locked at 50%. And I believe that is about it. One last thing, Tartarus here. Every time they colonize a new province, or I sell them a new colonized province here in South America, they will not get the colonized penalty Colonial nations will never get this penalty. Gaisipati, yes, that's how you say that, doesn't have the bonus or the negative from being a colony. It has no autonomy. Like I said, colonial nations are quite strong in this patch. That's about all I wanted to say about colonies, distant overseas penalties in this segment of the video. Let's move on to the papacy. This last section of the video will be talking about the Holy See, the papacy, the Pope, and how you gain new cardinals, new influence, and how to control it. First, let's talk about something that most players unfamiliar with the mechanics here might be a little hazy about, and that is gaining new cardinals. Cardinals being the best way to gain more papal influence. You see, the base value for gaining papal influence each year is 0.5, and from our 6 controlled cardinals, we gain 3 per year, the most significant increase. Now, gaining a new cardinal is based pretty much solely upon how rich the province is, and if that province is indeed Catholic. Spain, for instance, in this starting date, has incorporated Naples and parts of Italy and the Netherlands. Naples has 9 base tax, for instance, is Catholic. Lombardy has 14 base tax, is Catholic. And I believe that Spain has a great relationship with the Papal State, plus 64. Their relationship is mildly determinant of gaining a new cardinal, but mostly you'll be looking at the base tax of the province, if it is Catholic, and random events that could fire. For instance, Spain could have an event that would steal a cardinal from Biera and bring him to Cáceres if they were willing to be a little dirty about the whole cardinal and curia control game. Now, becoming the Pope is a little bit different in this patch. If you have the requisite amount of papal influence, the first stepping stone, I believe, is, 5 papal influence to gain 10 points towards becoming the next Pope, the next papal controller. If you have invested this, you gain a 100% chance to become the next Pope. But that is diluted among all of the people who have invested the same amount as you. So if everyone in the Catholic world has invested 5 papal influence, then everyone has a 5% chance to become the next curia controller. It's just spread out among who has invested and how much they've invested. For instance, you invest 5 points, but Austria invests 2 points, 2 clicks, which would be, I believe, 20, because each time you invest, the next subsequent investment becomes slightly more expensive. They've invested twice, you've invested once. They have a 10% chance to become the next papal controller if they're the only one that has invested 2 clicks of the investment. It just dilutes over how much, etc., etc. I believe that's all I wanted to get into about becoming the Pope, papal control, getting new cardinals, and the whole papacy game in general with this new patch. Thank you for joining me. I've been Rojiru, and this has been my second video covering Europa Universalis 4, Art of War. If you've enjoyed my video, found it helpful, or even entertaining, and you'd like to see more of me on Paradox Extra, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. This tells us that you'd like to hear ever so much more from me. And more importantly, if you'd like to see something covered in my videos, leave a comment. I do read each and every one of them, and while I do so enjoy hearing about how much you all love my voice, tell me what you'd like to see covered in future videos, things that you liked, and even what you didn't. As I said, I have been Rojiru. Thank you for joining me, and good luck.